Hey Heifers, and welcome to Angus IT, the podcast all about anxiety, depression, and getting goals. Ole, ole, that's not how that works. Is that how soccer works? Ole, ole, ole. I think I'm making that up. I don't watch soccer. Well, actually, women's soccer, I do get excited every time it's like the Olympics or the World Cup because it's just like empowering and hilarious that everyone's like, oh wait, this is the first time we're making it to the World Cup with the guys team, and it's like actually like the women's soccer team has made it there like multiple times, but it's fine. We're not talking about, I'm sorry. This is not the way I wanted to start this off. Let's do a fresh page. Let's come back. Let's do it. So monthly goals, I have brought them back because I need to get my shit together. We have spring now. My allergies have alerted me to that fact. I am continuing to take my over-the-counter allergy. Is that the word? See, my allergies have muddled my mind so much that I can't even exactly know what's happening, but it's okay. Mostly what I'm here to say is that this is the monthly goals series where I will discuss my previous month's goals just to kind of keep myself in check. And then I set new goals for myself as goal setting is done, and I do this because my mental health sometimes needs to be put in check, or I put things off because I'm anxious about it, which can happen to anybody. So this is me publicly saying things so that I do them, and it's always a fun little time. So to start then, let's review March. Let's see how that went. Did you have a good month? I would rank mine 2 out of 5 stars. You know, like I got through it and there were some fun times, but I think overall I just was like, or you know what, maybe that's not fair. Maybe that was just this past week, but this past week did kind of super suck. So I am going to take away 3 stars because of it, March. I'm sorry. It's not me. It is actually you. So my 3 goals, let's start with the first one, which was to launch my Patreon, which I did. I hit the publish button. That was just something I've been sitting around for ages on. I'd always wanted to have a Patreon. I wanted to have like extra content available, and it's just really scary to like put yourself out there in that way. But ever since I've embarked on my life sabbatical, which if you're new, I quit my corporate job in January, and I am now currently trying to figure out what is it that I really want to do. And I'm in this beautiful period where not many people have this opportunity to just like exist for a couple of months right now, and it's been really great. I've learned a lot about myself. I've done a little journaling. I've done some yoga and like breathing exercises. I'm just like a new person. But like in actuality, like it's been really good for me. Once you do something like that, which was the ultimate no-no for me, like quitting your stable job with health insurance and all of that, a lot of other things that you've been putting off kind of seem like little chicken shit. It's like, you're going to tell me you're going to quit your corporate job, but you're afraid to launch a Patreon. And then in my head, I'm like, damn it, you got me again. So I will say it's been kind of good in terms of getting other shit in my life together, just doing that and being like, yeah, you're right. I am on this life sabbatical. I did do that. There's really no reason I couldn't also do this. So the Patreon is alive. It is thriving. I make videos over there. I have blogs. I actually just wrapped up a video I need to edit. I need more time, where I went a week without caffeine. I'm actually working on 2 weeks of no caffeine. So I haven't done coffee for over a year, but I do dabble with the devil caffeine. But as you heard, my previous week sucked, and I needed to try to control what I could, which was whatever level of anxiety I hold based on caffeine. So she's gone. And now I'm trying to work out every single day, big or small. It's not going to be like 3-hour workouts every day. That's not sustainable. But mostly I am just trying to keep my shit together. I don't remember how we got on this subject. Oh, I made a video about it. I documented my experience, which was funny because it ended up me being like, yeah, okay, I'm starting this. And then being like, hey, day 2 check-in, this happened. Day 3 check-in, things got worse. And it's a fun journey. So now I'm documenting myself working out every single day, and just, again, another thing to try to get my shit together. So yeah, patreon.com/AngusID. Goal number 2 for March was to get my back windshield fixed. My 14-year-old car has a defunct back windshield. Apparently, if it's not made properly in the factory, or to be honest, it probably was. And now it's been almost 2 decades. So it's being like, I'm going to crap out now. It's warped. It's warped. It's like the way that a shower glass doors can be blurred out, like that kind of thing. That's sort of what my back windshield looks like. And as you can imagine, that's not like ideal for driving conditions. I've gotten really good at like interpreting the impressionist painting background I have and looking at side mirrors. I've gotten really good at like turning my head. I do little neck exercises every day to make sure I'm nimble, but like not ideal. And so what I was going to do this month was going to like set everything up with my insurance, or at least figure out what I need to do to get that replaced. And if it didn't fall under insurance, because I think there has to be like a crack or something. And I was like, well, I technically can't see though. So does that count? But like, I don't know. But, out of pocket, $200, $300, probably worth it in the long run, right? Well, here's what happened, guys. This is what happened to me last week. I had the best of intentions and I was going to get things rolling last week because I knew I was probably going to hold off on it until the very last minute. But the beauty of me saying my goals to you is that I want to make sure when I come on the mic, I've actually attempted it. It all started with an uptick of cravings for McDonald's. I'm not really sure what spurred it on. I think, again, it was like the week was already a little shaky. And, sometimes I like to spice it up. Don't tell Taco Bell. But I was like, I just want to murder some fries right now. And so, yeah, maybe I'd already gone twice that week. And maybe that's when I realized I should not be guzzling giant Diet Cokes. I need to keep it in check. But anyway, I wanted a fucking burger byproduct with giant salt potato sticks. And I wanted to go again. And I was like, you know what? I really want a fucking milkshake. I haven't had a milkshake in ages. This is going to be fantastic. So I bring Fern with me because every time I go to the drive-thru, I just take Fern with me because there's just no point in leaving her at home. She enjoys a good car ride. She sticks her little head out the window and she's very happy. And a lot of the times the drive-thru people give her treats. So it's like a fun experience for her. I don't have attachment issues to my dog. It is fine. I am fine. I'm really doing fine. I load her into the car. I'm excited. I'm decently depressed and super anxious. And so in my mind, I'm like, this milkshake is going to cure all of my woes because nothing like a fatty, sugary drink helps your body when cortisol and all of your chemicals are fucking out of whack. And I put my key in the ignition and I turn it and the dashboard lights up. The air conditioning starts, but my engine starts to do a I'm like, what, sister? Okay, calm down, take a breath. And I was like, just maybe I didn't turn it all the way, And the funny thing with that is that I actually do sometimes get scared to turn my my key all the way in. And that is because with this car, there was a year where I had to get 4 new batteries. And it was because a mechanic kept not putting it in properly, apparently. Like someone just hadn't tightened a knob. But it took 4 actual dead batteries in really shitty situations to get through it. And so I can't tell you how accustomed I am to turning on my car and it not doing anything. And then just like that moment of dread washing over me. So that has like really stuck with me. And so every time I go to turn on my car, I'm like, oh, please turn on. Dear God, please turn on. Even though I know like the battery is fine, but clearly it's older. And I'm like, oh my God, please. And so anytime there's like a minor catch or, again, I'm like, I think the fear is like, if I turn it all the way and it doesn't turn on, then I have to deal with it, which doesn't make sense because if I don't turn it on all the way, then the fear comes. Anyway, none of these things ever make sense in our heads, but I, when I go to initially turn my car key to get my McDonald's milkshake, I get that little engine, and I'm like, okay, try it one more time. And then, this time it's like, I'm like, what? And I know in my heart it's not a battery issue because I can like turn the windows down, my lights are on. And I'm like, this isn't an engine issue. This is fine. But what I do and what I've always done is I turn the key off, whatever the terms are. I threw the key onto the passenger seat and I just sat there and I just let my mind go blank. It's like a meditative state anytime shit like this happens. And I just have to sit in it. Perhaps people call it shock. I don't know. But I just sit in there and I'm like, if I don't move or allow any thoughts about what I need to do next, then this isn't happening. It's like I've become so present. I'm like, in this exact moment, nothing is wrong and everything is fine. And I don't have to acknowledge this just yet. And then like the dread will sink in more. And I'm like, okay. My car will not start. Here we go. So my friend Cameron came over and we tried to do jumper cables in case it was a battery issue. But again, it's not, if the dashboard's lighting up and everything else is working, it's like the battery's probably fine. So we did it. Nothing happened. And I was like, oh God, now I have to get towed somewhere. And I've never done that before, which makes me super anxious. And I'm already anxious about car things because I don't understand it, let alone getting towed. So I had to find my AAA membership card number because the card was somewhere. I can never find it. And I'm under my parents' plan, which means like it's by state. And so I can never get the right login. Anyway, it was a nightmare to figure that out, but I finally did so I could get my free tow. So I called the tow truck on Sunday. So my car died on Saturday. I was, to be honest, going to put off dealing with my car for as long as possible, but I kept telling people what happened because I needed people to then tell me, Elaine, please, dear God, go take care of this now. It will not get any easier. I was like, okay, I don't want to, but fine. So I called the tow truck on Sunday, but he calls me back and he's like, honestly, like, don't do it today because like a lot of places are closed. And if your car stays there overnight, someone's going to steal your muffler. And I was like, oh, what? What? Christ. And I like just built up the nerve to do this. And again, I want to add, I am very anxious already, just going into this whole thing. Now adding fresh anxiety. I was like, okay. And it was one of those things where his phone was like, 10 feet away from him, but he was also yelling. So I didn't quite understand what he was saying to begin with. So it's like, oh, okay, I'll just cancel it. I was like, try again on Monday? Okay. So then I get a tow truck again on Monday, and the guy was supposed to check my like IDs and stuff to confirm my me. And he just was like, I'll take your key and you're good. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so my car gets towed. It gets sent to the mechanic. And that was a whole stressor for me because I was like, do I have to go with you? Or like, do I have to go to the mechanic? And then I was like, that wouldn't make sense. So I had to call multiple people to ask questions. Which is good. That's like character growth for me. Just over the past few years, I decided I would rather call and get the answer instead of living in the unknown agony, which for an anxious person to like pick up the phone and do that, it's like pretty solid. And I feel way better about it. So I've gotten better reaching out for those things when I don't feel super, super anxious, which I kind of was though. So it was like a tough toss up, but I got to stretch those old muscles again. Anyway, they're really booked on Monday. They're going to look at it on Tuesday, do a diagnostic run. I'm pretty sure it's a starter issue, which basically means whatever the belt thing that goes vroom, vroom engine. It was like, peace. I know. I literally don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, it's something where my engine isn't dead. This is fixable. And I don't really want to buy a new car right now, right? So I'm like, okay, I'd rather fork over a little more money now so I'm not in like a $15,000 loan at this point in my life. So Tuesday rolls around. I'm really busy and so anxious on Tuesday that I don't call and check in, even though that was my plan. But I hear nothing from them, which isn't a great sign because he said he was going to do the diagnostic test Tuesday morning and call me. And like a whole day goes by. I'm like, oh, okay. So Wednesday morning I call and they're like, yeah, sorry. We got backed up and then our mechanic totally smashed his hand with a hammer. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm so sorry. And I want to give a shout out. The mechanic I'm working with is so nice and genuine. He's actually working on my car today on his day off. Yes, Friday. I'm recording this. Just wait for it, guys. So mechanic gets hand smashed. They're down a person and they're backed up. And I'm like, okay, you know what? It's pandemic and I don't have to really go anywhere. So this is fine. Proceed to Thursday. I let most of Thursday go through. I talked to somebody, I think in the morning, and I put down like a down payment. I figure out like what things I'm going to get done. And so they're ordering the parts on Thursday and, it's fine. And now it's Friday and I'm not being pushy, but it's been a whole week and I am at a point where I need my car. It'd be nice to have it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to call again. So, actually, sorry, I forgot. Thursday, I was actually going to call to get a check, and no one answered the phone, which didn't bode well for me. And I was getting antsy. I was like, shit, what have I been fooled? But I called this morning, and it's Friday. And the woman I spoke to was very nice. And she was like, yeah, we got the last part this morning. And the mechanic, he came in on his day off so he could wrap up your car. And I was like, that's so nice. Like, she didn't say it in a malicious way either. I was just like, oh my God, thank you, Jesus. I don't know what that was. Sorry. Anyway, the moral of the story, not the moral, the ending note is that hypothetically, I can have my car this afternoon, which I'm so excited. Now, here's the fun part. So it did turn out to be a starter issue. So starters are like $430, which like wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, to be honest. But then they did a thorough inspection of my car, and I don't think that car has ever had something like that. Like, I get oil changes, and then I got new tires at one point, like a year ago, 2 years ago. Apparently no one's done an in-depth look, and I didn't know this was a thing. And again, I like this mechanic because they send you a report via a text, and I get pictures of things they're talking about. So it's not just them like blowing out their ass. It's like, this is broken. Here's a picture of it. And being like, oh shit. Like, even though I don't know anything, I know what like sad metal looks like. I get the diagnostic report, and they're like, here's some things to look into in the future, but you don't have to do now. But these are things you need to do now, urgent, red. And there were 6 items. And I was like, what the fuck? So it was the starter. And then my rotor, drum, and brake shoes, I think they're all the same. Basically, my brakes, whatever the part is, it was 1 millimeter thick. They're not supposed to be that thin. That's like paper thin, which isn't great. That's like when you try to brake your car and it just starts shaking a lot. And like, I noticed there was like weird stuff when I tried to brake, but I'd had a brake issue a couple years ago and we'd fixed that. But apparently no one had like opened up the tire. Like, they were showing me pictures. I was like, I don't think anyone has ever looked this much at my car. And so, yeah, they were like showing me like these rusty, sad things. And then like, just to be so, and that was going to cost like another $450. And then just to be spiteful, my car's tail light was out. And I was like, this is so fucking stupid. I mean, like, I'm glad they found it, but I was like, do they want to spit on me does my car want to spit on me while I'm on the ground? Does it want to kick me? Throw some sand in my wounds? Like, was it not good enough that you didn't start for me? So basically, majority of my stimulus check got to go to my car, even though I was like, oh, this is exciting, it can go to rent. But I noticed that I was like, shit, I'm out all that money. But really, I never budgeted for the stimulus check because I didn't know it was coming. So if anything, I still earned $300, and I'm so glad that this random magical money came so that I'm not out the $1,100 it costs to fix my car, you know? So that's the positive way I'm looking at it, which is very true. And so anyway, I really hope I am able to get my car back today. And don't worry, I did panic about going to this mechanic. I've actually never gone to this place before, and so I always panic about doors. I'm like, which door do I go into? Because mechanics are so weird. Like, the garage is open, and sometimes they're like, yeah, just come on over here. I'm like, what? No, there's a door over there, and then there's a back door. I overthink it. I was really calm this time, though, and all I did was went on Google Earth and then rotated around and discovered there's only one door, so it's fine. Totally normal way to deal with that. So no, I did not decide that after $1,100 car repair that I was going to get a new windshield. Maybe in April I'll dabble with that again, but I'm used up in the car arena. And again, I can still see it. The Impressionist painting is like a little bit of a drastic thing. I can see out of it. It's not my favorite, but like, I'm still fine. There's no juice left for car shit. So in a way, I'm going to say like I kind of did that goal because I dealt with scary car things, and now I'm not as fearless to deal with the windshield. I just don't feel like spending the money. Like, I'm good. I'd like to keep some of the stimulus. Or maybe I should just be like, surprise, car makeover. I don't know, guys. Anyway, so is how I did on that one. The final goal of March was to figure out a steady stream of income. Right now, that is just government stimulus checks. No. So this was basically what that means is I was going to look into part-time work, contract work, whatever. I wanted to have a game plan. It was okay if I didn't have it set up, but I wanted to have a direction instead of just being frantic, running around and screaming at Indeed.com. So in a way, I kind of did this. I just kind of did March. That's sort of what my March was. It's like I kind of survived, I guess. But I think the most important part is I figured out what I didn't want to do. And sometimes that's frustrating because you feel like you haven't made progress. But knowing what you don't want to do is actually still incredibly helpful because it removes options that clutter the mind. I still really want to try to figure out my own thing. And I checked out some business books and stuff, and I'm just trying to gain some knowledge. And I think by going through that, I'm like, you know what? Like, this sounds cool in my head, but like, I don't have time to figure this entire section out or something. You know what I mean? Like, maybe in the future, I would go get this license or really go deep dive into this. But once you realize how much background work you have to do for things, that's when you realize if it's something you want to do or not. Because if you're like, yeah, it's worth it, I will go through this, then perfect. And if you're like, not really, great. It sounded great, but not for you. So I did a lot of that this month, but I didn't figure out how to make it steady. So I'm going to kind of carry that over into April. Again, I have a better idea and I'm feeling a lot better than I did at the tail end of this month, which was utter disgusting shit. So things are booming again. I had a lot of self-doubt about myself and working for myself or coming up with my own thing. I hit the classic depression anxiety circle of, you're a piece of shit, you can't do anything. What if this happens when you're trying to work for yourself? You didn't get shit done, because I really didn't get anything done. But also a lot of the things I'm doing, I'm not getting paid for. And as sad as it is, it's like my art will drive me. But unless there's a dead fast deadline to somebody else, like I'm going to take the time off I need, which is good. I actually like that. That was a fun realization I had. Like I can do that in my position now. But that was more to comfort me in saying that if I was working with someone directly, like the money would be motivation to get through the depression anxiety I was feeling, because I'm just like motivated by that shit. So anyway, I'm going to give that a like, out of like, okay, like, out of okay for that goal. So yeah, March, not my favorite, still got a lot done. Worked on like Sloshbucklers, my second podcast. So like, you know, things are fine. Okay, on to April goals this coming month. Ooh, I feel good about April. Sometimes I just enter a month and I feel good about it, and then I can be like horribly disappointed, but that's okay. It's fine. April can hurt me if it wants to. It can't take away my optimism. I just want to cling on to something hopeful and happy, and this is what it is, April. My goals for April. First one, taxes. Oops, I haven't done my taxes. It is Friday, March 26th, so I might try to actually wrap that up before April, just because there's still a lot of deals right now in March, but like for surezies, I need to have that done in April. Last year, I was really on my game. I got them done in February. It felt great. That did not happen this year, so here we are. It's okay. More magic money from the government can come my way. Oh, that was fun. That was a fun little ride. It can maybe that can also help buy me new wheels, and maybe I'll actually get a car wash. I don't know. But I just need to do it, and I hate looking up things, and I'm just always scared I'm going to miss something, and it's just daunting, but I just do it. It's never as bad as I think it is once I get going. Yada, yada, yada. But I definitely want to do it sooner than later in case I am missing something or I need to grab something from somebody. Like, I'd rather obviously figure that out now so I have time to fix it. And there might be an extension again due to COVID, but I'm not going to rely on that. So it's fine. My second goal is that I would like to try to earn $500 this month. I was thinking about making it $1,000, but then that scared me. But then also in my head, I was like, well, you achieve what you say you can. And so if I say that, hey, I'm going to aim for 1,000, then like, you know, if I fall less than that, then fine. So maybe I should make that 1,000, but then that's also scary. And then if I fail, it'll be really depressing. But if I say 500, that's not as spooky, but in a way it still kind of is. Well, I'll say, fine, I'll say 1,000, and they'll be really sad when I only make 100 or like nothing, but like, fine, you got me. I'm going to make $1,000 this month somehow. to me, it's kind of a fun game right now. It's like, okay, that's good motivation. What can I do? What little things can I do to try to earn that? And again, I am motivated by money. No shame there. I am. If I can like boost my Taco Bell fund, if I can pay my bills, I probably should. My priorities are not straight. Let's go rent, bills, then Taco Bell. My bad. I'm fine. I'm fine. But yeah, I have the skills and I'm just like scared to go do it. But again, I quit my job. That was the scariest thing to do. I have nothing to lose. Like I just can earn. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to earn $1,000 this month and we will figure out what that looks like and what it means. But like, go get it, bitch. I'm ready. Okay. Ooh, I feel empowered now. Yeah. My third goal is I want to do at least 3 nature outings. These don't have to be wild things, but it is April in the South and it's already going to get really hot in April. Essentially, this will be my last month of being able to bear it for an extended amount of time. It's funny because a lot of people, when you're around hotter climates, they get summer seasonal depression because you can't go outside. You will actually wither away. You will dry up into ash because all the water will be sucked out of your body. And we have intense humidity. And if you haven't been around intense humidity, it's like you go outside and you're breathing water and it's super hot. It's awful. And it's like the same way that wind chill makes it colder. Humidity makes shit hotter. Basically, April is kind of my last month to embark on longer little nature outings without feeling disgusting and sad. So Fern gets the same way, actually. I can't take Fern out for too long when it's really hot because she just like withers up, my little baby. So I want to try to I want to go outside while I can, or at least while I can bear it. And I'm going to try to be better this summer about going out now that things are a little more open than they were at this point last year because we had no idea what was going on and people were being dumbasses and not like bothering to cover their mouths or not spit in each other's throats or something, our favorite pastime, throat spitting. Anyway, I feel like I have more options than I did last time. So I live in Charleston, which is just giant islands strewn together. So there's beaches. Then we have cool county parks. I can even drive a little bit, assuming that my car comes back to me in one piece. But I can head up to, I don't know, other places. There's forests. Everywhere has woods, I would say, right? It's a thing. So I just want to try to do that. And I've also desperately been craving nature. I don't know why. I mean, I think everybody would love some nice, peaceful quiet, but I think I'm kind of sick at looking out at just concrete everywhere. And again, like when you're in nature, you can just kind of forget that the world is happening. I just thought about how much Twitter never makes me happy. Like I rarely get on Twitter and feel happy. I just get like news and then I see everyone be just really angry back and forth instead of having discussions, which I forgot in real life, people aren't that angry, at least in the circles I run when we discuss these things, even when we have opposing views. So, I'm not getting on Twitter as much, but just in my mind, I realize a lot of the stress I have is kind of made up. Not that the news is made up, but you know what I mean? Like a lot of drama. Like, why would I care about celebrity drama? If I just got rid of my phone, it would just be solved. Like, I don't have to partake in that. And so I've just been really craving that again, especially because I was just so anxious and in my head. I just wanted to be like present and back in my body, experiencing nature. So I'll be sure to report back on what I end up doing. I'm sure it'll be interesting. That's what I'm looking forward to in April. What are you going to do in April? It can't just be me. Don't leave me hanging out here. Okay. You do something. Do you want to throw a rock at my back windshield so I can get it covered? Don't do that. I'm not saying don't do that. But if you want to, shame on you. You can pay for my new back windshield. That's actually what I should do. I should convince a teenager to throw a rock at my windshield and then I get them in trouble and I get a free windshield. That's so morally good. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Angus IT. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Angus IT. That's Angus like the cow, I like the body part, and T like the drink. Feel free to also join my Patreon for additional content. That's at patreon.com/AngusIT. I'd love to thank my patrons, Katie and OT, Rachel, Laura, Vanessa, and Taylor. Thank you so much, Lovies, to all of you. If you want extra show note shit, you can go to www.angusit.com. My email is angusit@gmail.com. Have I gone through all of that? Sure. My DMs are always open. I love to chat with y'all. Y'all are silly little goats. I regretted that instantly. Sloshbucklers, my second podcast, the Uncanny podcast that reviews canned booze, will be going live tomorrow, April 1st. Feel free to go check that out. And I hope that you are able to walk outside and you just don't have allergies. Like, you're able to breathe through your nose. You don't get headaches. Your eyes don't water. Like, you're just a superhuman that pollen is afraid of. And with that, I will talk to you next Wednesday. Bye, Heifers.